कृष्ण गीत अमृत दुहे नमः सर्वपानी स गवे दुग्ध गोकुलानंद पार्थ वत्स सुधीर भोक्त दुग्धम गीत अमृत महत् वासुदेव सुतम देवम कंसचारण मर्दनम देवकपरमनम नम कृष्ण वंदे जगत गुरुम भीष्म दुन तथा जयत जाल कंदर निलोत्पाल साल ग्रहावती कीर्तन वहनी करने वेलकुल अश्वताम विकर्ण घोर माकर द्योर्धन वर्तने सुतिर्म कौल बंधवे गान नांदी कई वर्त का केशवा परसचाय वच सरोजमालम गीता अथ गंधोत कथम ना कनायतक केशम हरिकथा संबोधना बोधितम लोक सांझ सात पदे आहा पेप्य मन मुदा वायद भारत पंकजम कालीमाल वंशिनार श्रेयसा यम ब्रह्म फरिंद्र रुद्र मरुत स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्य स्तुवै वेद संग पाद क्रमो पानी सदे गायन्ति या समाग यान वस्त तत् गाति न मानस पासद याम योगिनो यश्चंतन ना विदु सुर सुरस गाना देवयतम से नमा नारायण नमस्कृत नरम चैव नरोत्तम देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो नयम उदीरयेत्
श्री गुरवे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोविष्टम स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति सपदान्तिकम् आददानस्तुणं गन्तैरिदं याचे पुनः पुनः श्रीमद्रूपपदाम्भोज धूलिस्यां जन्म जन्मनि अनर्पितचरिं चिरात् कर्णावतीर्णा कलौ समर्पयितुन्नतजनरसां सभक्तिश्रियम् हरिपुरटसुन्दरद्युते कदम्ब सन्निपिता सदा हृदयकन्दरे स्फुरतुभाषचिरन्दनः संसारदुःखजलधौ परितस्य कामः क्रोधादिन कर्मकरैः कवलीकृतस्य दुर्वासना निगडितस्य निराश्रयस्य चैतन्यचन्द्रमम देहि पदावलम्बम् चैतन्यचन्द्रममृतकुमुदम्बिकाश्च रुद्रं विदेहिजचिन्तनभृङ्गरङ्गैः किञ्चापराधतिमिडं विधयं विधेय पादामृतं सदयपाय दुर्गतं मां सङ्कर्षणाकारणतोयशायि गर्भोदिशायि च पयोदिशायि शेषशां सकलासनित्यानन्दाख्यरामा शरणं ममास्तु। सर्वप्रथम अस्मदे गुरुपाद पद्म प्रेष्ठ जगत गुरु शिष्य भक्तिदात नारायण गोसाई महाराज त्रिवेणी स्वामी शिष्य भक्तिदात गड्डी महाराज नाम निष्ठ संत श्री अनिरुद्धास प्रभु जी समस्त वैष्णव के चरणों में बैठा के दंडवत प्रणाम अर्पण करता हूँ। So today we are discussing today's auspicious day, Ekadashi day and Utpanna Ekadashi, and this day we are fasting from grains and beans, taking fruit, water, substitute foodstuffs, and remembering Krishna as much as possible. Very auspicious day. So Bhagavad Gita, slok number 2.34. We are at the chapter number 2. अकीर्तिं चापि भूतानि कथयिष्यन्ति ते अव्ययाम् संभावितस्य च कीर्तिं मरणात् अतिरिच्यते. Akirtim, infamy, cha also, api, over and above, bhutani, all people, kateshanti, will speak, they of you, avyayam, forever, sambhavitasya, for respectable man, cha also, akirti, ill fame, maranat, then death, ativichyate, become more. People will always speak of your infamy, and for one who has been honored, dishonor is worse than death. Both as friend and philosopher to Arjuna, Lord Krishna now gives his final judgment regarding Arjuna's refusal to fight. The Lord says, Arjuna, if you leave the battlefield, people will call you a coward even before your actual fight. And if you think that people may call you bad names, but that you will save your life by fleeing the battlefield, then my advice is that you would do better to die in the battle. For a respectable man like you, ill fame is worse than death. So you should not flee for fear of your life. Better to die in the battle. That will save you from the ill fame of misusing my friendship and from losing your prestige in society. So the final judgment of the Lord was for Arjuna to die in the battle and not withdraw. So this is actually very nice verse. Bhagavan is telling, Kirtim chapi bhutani kathayishanti te praya sambhavitasya cha kirtir maranat atirichyate. People will always speak of your infamy, and for one who has been honored, dishonor is worse than death. So Bhagavan is encouraging again and again Arjuna. Oh, please, Arjuna, fight. Must fight. There is no question that you'll give up this particular battlefield. This battlefield, you should not give up. So, Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is theistic science. And this particular science teaches us how to live a life. So here I have a class by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, and he gave this class about the same verse and a verse before that actually. I'll read the verse before also. This class was given in London, September 3, 1973. Pradyumna. Pradyumna was one disciple of Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. He was very good at Sanskrit. I think he came to meet Srila Gurudev also once in Lake Washington Festival. The Sanskrit reader. So translation. If, however, you do not fight this religious war, then you will certainly incur sins for neglecting your duties and thus lose your reputation as a fighter. Atachetvam imam dharmyam sangramam na karishyasi tatah swakaryam tatah swadharmam kirtim cha hitva papam abapsasi. So imam dharmyam, religious fight. Just like even nowadays also, if the soldier disobeys the order of the commander, that soldier is shot down by martial law. So this is the law actually, very strict law. Because to disobey the order of the commander is sinful. So Krishna says, Athachetvam imam dharmyam sangramam na karishyasi. This fight is not ordinary fight. It is not the politician's fight. For the sake of religion, you must fight. And if you do not, then swadharmam. You are a Kshatriya, not only Kshatriya, you are a very well-known fighter. You have been recognized by so many demigods. Arjun got the Pashupat Astra to test Arjuna's fighting capacity. Sometimes Lord Shiva, uh, when Arjun was hunting in the forest, so Lord Shiva also as a hunter, he appeared before him, and when a boar was killed by hunting, Lord Shiva claimed that I have done this killing. Arjun said, no, I have done this. So there was controversy, and who will claim that hunt? I mean to say, killed animal. So Arjun was claiming. And Lord Shiva, as a hunter, he was also claiming that boar. So then there was a fight between Lord Shiva and Arjuna. So Lord Shiva was defeated. So he then disclosed his identity that I am very much pleased that you are such a nice fighter. So he presented him one arrow, which is called Pashupat Astra. Similarly, he sometimes fought with Indra. He gave him some astra, weapon. This was the system that a Kshatriya is presented with a kind of weapon, a Brahman is presented with Vedas, and so for Vaishyas and Shudras are concerned, they are not very important. So here, Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj is telling that we want to create a Brahminical society, but not based on birth, but by qualities. There are plenty of Vaishyas and Shudras, Kalau Shudra Sambhava. But if you want to create excellent Vaishnavas who are true Brahmanas, and for that, birth is not important. Anyone and everyone can be trained in Bhakti line and become a first class Vaishnava Brahmana. So Arjun was recognized by Lord Shiva, by King Indra, and many others also. So Krishna says you have got recognition from big personalities. So if you don't fight, then not only you shall be religious, but also you'll lose your reputation. Tata swadharmam kirtim cha hitva papam abhapsasi. Papam means sin or sinful reaction. So it has to be judged. When sometimes fighting is papam, means sinful activity, and sometimes fighting is punyam, pious activities. It requires a time, circumstances, on what ground the fighting was going on whose order the fighting was going on. These are to be studied. So, violence and non-violence. Our great leader, Mahatma Gandhi, he wanted to prove from Bhagavad Gita non-violence. He started the non-violence movement and he wanted to support. Everyone takes advantage of Bhagavad Gita and tries to support his view on the strength of Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, you will find so many interpretations. Everyone wants to utilize. There are more than 600 publication commentaries on Bhagavad Gita. One Dr. Rede, Marathi man, in Bombay, now it's known as Mumbai, he has interpreted Bhagavad Gita as talks between a physician and a patient. So these things are going on. But that is not Bhagavad Gita. That is Namno Balat Yasahi Papa Buddhi Namaprad. 10 kinds of offenses. So this is offense. Just like Namno Balat Yasahi Papa Buddhi, we say that the Shastra says that by chanting Hare Krishna mantra, you become cleansed of your sinful activities. That's a fact. But if somebody thinks that I shall go on committing sinful activity and chant Hare Krishna mantra, so it will be adjusted, neutralized. This is the most sinful activity. Namno balat hiyasya papa buddhi. By the strength of chanting, committing sin. So similarly, on the strength of Bhagavad Gita, if one wants to prove his foolish philosophy, that is a great offense. That's a great offense. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita cannot be interpreted by foolish commentators. It must be studied through the parampara system, Acharya Upasana. One must worship the Acharya and learn from him what is Bhagavad Gita. Acharyavat Purusho Veda. This is the Vedic injunction. Who knows things as they are? Acharyam Mam Purusha. One who is under the guidance of Acharya. So you won't find this foolish non-violence theory from any Acharya. Many Acharyas have commented on Bhagavad Gita. There is Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, and even Shankaracharya. But never said that Bhagavad Gita is proof of non-violence. Non-violence is good, but when there is Dharma Yuddha, righteous fighting, there is no question of non-violence. Violence is approved. Therefore, Krishna says, Tata Swadharmam Kirtim Cha. You will be neglecting your Swadharma, your professional or occupational duty, and minimizing the importance of your recognition. Kirti. Kirtir Yasya Sajivati. Anyone who is reputed for his good activities, he lives forever. Kirtir Yasya Sajivati. Vaja Sadhu Samagamam. Tajat Durjana Samsargam. Vaja Sadhu Samagamam. Chanakya Pandit also says, Kirti Yasya Sajivati. Who lives forever? One who has got reputation for his, one who is famous for his good activities. So don't try to lose your reputation. You are a great fighter, recognized by so many authorities. And if you don't fight, then people will say, now Arjun is finished. He cannot anymore fight. So don't lose this reputation. Don't be deviated from your occupational duty as a Kshatriya. If you do all these things, then Papam avapsasi. You don't think that it will be pious. You will, on the other hand, you will become impious. Papam avapsasi. Next verse, Pradyumna is now reading. People will always speak of your infamy, and for one who has been honored, dishonor is worse than death. So these are our today's verse. Akirtim chapi bhutani katayishyanti te avyayam sambhavitasya cha kirtir maranadatirechate. Sambhavitasya. One who is very reputed, famous man, if he does something wrong, then it was better to die before such infamy is grown. This is advised. Arjuna is famous as a great fighter. Not only that, he is a personal friend of Krishna. So much so that Krishna has agreed to become his chariot driver. Just try to understand what is his position. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, who is worshipped by Lord Brahma, Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. He has agreed to drive the chariot of Arjun on account of friendship. Now we have to imagine how much famous he is. Everyone will say, Oh Krishna, Is he is his so intimate friend that he has agreed to drive his chariot. This is your reputation all over the world. So sambhavitasya cha kirti. And if you don't fight now, what people will say? Better you die. Krishna is advising that instead of becoming a very good man, non-violent, you lay down your life. That is my advice. You die. I shall see that you have died. I will be very much pleased. This is Krishna's advice. How much he has become? I mean to say, dissatisfied with the decision of Arjuna. So Krishna is dissatisfied with the decision of Arjuna. Krishna, I am not going to fight this battle. So Krishna's last advice is that if you don't fight, better you die before him. I shall be very much pleased. Then, translation, the great generals who have highly esteemed your name and fame will think that you have left the battlefield out of fear only, and thus they will consider you a coward. Pradyumna reads the verse. Bhayam ranat upahrutam mamsante tvam maharatha yesham chatam bahumato bhutva yasyasi laghavam. Verse 2.35. This spirit of Kshatriya was prevalent even, say, 300 years ago in India. There was a king, Yashomanta Sen. He was the commander in chief of Emperor Aurangzeb. So, in one fight, he was defeated and came back to his home. So, his wife heard that my husband has been defeated. He is coming back home. So, she asked the caretaker to close the door of the palace. So, when Yashomanta Sen came there, he saw that his palace door is closed. Then he sent message to the queen that, why have you closed the door? I come home. So, a messenger came and informed that the king has come, so he's asking to open the door. The queen replied, who is king? Yashomanta Sen. No, no, Yashomanta Sen cannot come being defeated. Yashomanta Sen, either he conquers the battle or he lays down his body there, dead. So the man who has come, he must be somebody pretender. He is not the king Yashamanta Sen. So she refused to open the door. This is the spirit of Kshatriya. This is the Kshatriya spirit. So here also the same thing. 5,000 years ago also, that Krishna says, you are so reputed fighter. So if you stop fighting, people will consider, especially other commander in chiefs like Dronacharya, Bhishma, Karna, they are all they are Maharathas. Maharatha means one fighter who can combat with thousands of men alone. He is called Maharatha. As nowadays the titles are captain, commander, commander in chief. Similarly, formerly Maharatha, Atiratha were the titles given to the soldiers, fighters. So Maharatha, the greatest commanders. So Krishna says that you are recognized one of the Maharathas. So what the other Maharathas will think of you? They will not consider that out of compassion you did not fight. They will think that out of fear you have left the battlefield. They will take the opposite. Bhayadranam uparatam. Out of fear you have stopped fighting. Mamsante tvam Maharatha. So now you are recognized as one of the Maharatha. Yesham chatvam bahumato. Oh, you are known by various, I mean to say, commanders in chiefs. Bhutva yasyase lagavam. In their eyes, you will be considered as degraded. Bhutva yasyase lagavam. Why should you accept? Better fight and die. That's all right. So this is the end of the lecture here. Then verse number Bhagavad Gita 2.36 and 37. It was given in London. Pradyumna is leading the kirtan and then utters the verse. Avachavadam shabahun vadishyanti tavahita nindantastav samarthyam tato dukkataram nakim hatva va prapsasi swargam jitva va bhokshase mahim tasmad uttishta kaunteya yuddhas yuddhaya kritanishaya. Pradyumna is reading the translation. Your enemies will describe you in many unkind words and scorn your ability. What could be more painful for you? Prabhupada is saying Nishaya, uncertainty. Should be uncertainty. O son of Kunti, Either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain the heavenly planets, or you will conquer and enjoy the heavenly kingdom. So you are noting down the mistakes. So this was Bhagavad Gita was being written that time. So some mistakes were editor. He was telling that mistakes should be noted down now. So therefore, get up and fight with determination. So Arjuna's position is very precarious. There is a Bengali proverb, "Naste bose bunkata." A girl, she is very famous dancing girl. So it is a system. So we have introduced the girls and ladies. They have their well Gunthana. It is called Gunthana in Indian language. So dancing girl, when she was on the stage, she saw that so many of her relatives are there as visitors. So she began to draw the well. So this is not required. You are a dancing girl, so now you have to dance. You cannot be shy. You must freely dance. That is your duty. So Arjuna, some rascal has killed some man, giving the reason that killing is not sinful. Because in the Bhagavad Gita it is stated there. Yes, apparently to the rascals it appears like that Krishna is encouraging Arjuna to fight. And he says there is no sin. But the rascal does not see under what condition he is advising. Swadharmam api chaveksha. Hmm. So if someone is killing, giving evidence of Bhagavad Gita, that is not correct. Arjuna was fighting a righteous war. So the Swadharma, the principle is a Kshatriya's duty to fight, is to kill in fight. If you are in fight, you become sympathetic. Then the same example, the dancing girl, when on the stage, if she is shy, uh, it is like that. Why should she be shy? She must dance freely. That will be credit. So in the war field, you cannot be compassionate. That is not required. In so many ways, ahimsa, arjava, these are good qualities. In the 13th chapter, Krishna has described ahimsa, non-violence. Non-violence is generally accepted. And actually, Arjuna was non-violent. He was not a coward. Not because he was coward. Therefore, he was refusing to fight. No, as a Vaishnava, naturally he is non-violent. He does not like to kill anyone, and especially his own family man. He was taking a little compassion, not that he was a coward. So Krishna is encouraging, inducing Arjuna to observe the duty. You cannot deviate from duty. That was the point. When there is fight, you must fight regularly and kill the enemies. That is your credit. When you are fighting with the enemies, if you become compassionate, how shall I kill? That is the coward. That is cowardice. Therefore, Krishna concludes here. Hatova prapsasi swargam jitvava mokshase jitvava bhokshase mahi. There are two alternatives for a fighter, for a kshatriya. To fight in the battle, either gain victory or die. No higher media. Fight to the last point if you are able, and then become victorious or die. No stoppage. All this fighting were meant like that. According to the Vedic culture, the Kshatriyas, not the Brahmanas, the Brahmanas are not encouraged to fight or kill. No, they should remain always non-violent. Even there is required violence, a Brahmana will not kill personally. He will bring the matter to the Kshatriya royal order, just like Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra was being disturbed by so many demons in the forest. They used to live in the forest. So Vishwamitra was able to kill such many demons by his will, but he did not do so. He went to Maharaj Dasharath, father of Lord Ramchandra, to request him that give your sons Ram and Lakshman. I will take them with me. They will kill that demon. The killing is there, but the Brahmana is not going to kill personally, or the Vaishya is not meant for killing, neither the Shudras. Only the Kshatriyas. The Kshatriyas should be so tender. Just like in USA, there is some trouble in recruiting soldiers because why the difficulty is there? The difficulty is the training is like Shudras. The young men are trained up like Shudras. How can they fight? How they can fight? Therefore, they are afraid. They try to avoid fighting because there is no division. Everyone in this age, everyone is Shudra. How can how you can expect a Shudra will be encouraged to fight? That is not possible. Therefore, real social structure should be four divisions: Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Brahman fully engaged for enlightenment of the people, knowledge, spiritual knowledge. They are meant for that. They will cultivate that knowledge personally. Uh, Pathan Pathan, uh, studying and helping others study, and teaching, studying and teaching, and make students. Brahminical class. Similarly, Kshatriya, they should be trained up in politics, in fighting, not to flee away from fighting. These are the training of the Kshatriyas. Similarly, the Vaishyas, they should be trained up how to cultivate, grow fruit grains, how to give protection to the cows, and Shudras are meant for simply serving these higher class. Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. That is the program. So Krishna is encouraging Arjuna because he is a Kshatriya. Swadharmam api chaveksha. It is his duty. The rascal should not take example that Krishna encouraged killing. Therefore, everyone should kill. There is no sin. Without understanding, this is the difficulty. The rascals they do not understand what is Bhagavad Gita. They interpret for their favorable condition. That's all. Here is Bhagavad Gita. They do not read the whole thing from Acharya, misunderstand. Bhagavad Gita is not encouraging violence. That is not the Bhagavad Gita's purpose. But a Kshatriya, when there is fight, Dharma Yuddha, Yuddha Dharma. What is that before? Sukhina Kshatriya Partha Labante Yuddham Idrusham. A Kshatriya becomes very satisfied to get such fighting opportunity. Yuddham Idrusham Yadruchaya Chopapannam Swargadvaram Apavrutam Labante Yuddham Idrusham. And another place. Swadharmam apichaveksha navikamputum arhasi. धर्माद्धि युद्धाश्रेयोन्यत् क्षत्रियस्य न वेद्यते. Dharmadhi yuddha. There are two kinds of fighting. Dharma yuddha. Dharma yuddha means right, righteous fighting, and adharma yuddha means political. So that is one politician, he wants to keep his position, he engages the people in fighting, declares war. That is another thing. But when right thing, violence is required. So Arjuna, Krishna is encouraging Arjuna in Dharma Yuddha. Krishna is encouraging Arjuna in Dharma Yuddha. Not unnecessarily killing in the slaughterhouses. Do not misunderstand Krishna. The rascals, they misunderstand. By killing, by his whims, he gives the evidence of another rascal. Although he is learned professor, he says that because this man has killed on the basis of Bhagavad Gita, therefore Krishna is immoral. Just see, this is going on. Without understanding Bhagavad Gita, even a so-called learned scholar also talking of Krishna as immoral. He has encouraged killing. Just see, such envious persons, and is teaching Bhagavad Gita. This is going on. So this is not the fact. The fact is that there must be in the society four classes of men, because sometimes violence is required. Just like why government is maintaining the police force, the military force is required for keeping law and order. So violence is bad. That's all right. But sometimes it is required. Just like poison. Poison is bad. But sometimes it is required for administering medicine. Even poison is administered when one's heart, according to Ayurvedic system, when the man's heart is almost to fail, at that time poison is given. So the heart becomes again agitated. In the medical science also. So the poison is poison, but sometimes it is required as medicine uh, administration. Similarly, violence, killing is bad, but there is circumstances where violence is righteous, religious. Therefore, Krishna says, Dharmadhi Yuddha. So it is the Kshatriya. Kshatriya means who gives protection. The protection, the citizens from being hurt by the irreligious person. That is called Kshatriya. Kshat, Kshat means injury, and Tra means deliver. Just like Maharaj Parikshit. When he saw that a black man, Kali, was going to kill a cow, he was going to inflict injury to the cow, and immediately Maharaj Parikshit took his sword, that to give protection to the cow from the injury of black man. So that violence is required. Tit for tat. One who is going to commit violence unnecessarily, the king, government, should immediately take the sword and kill that person. That is government's duty. Had it been Vedic culture, prevailing now, all these persons who are unnecessarily killing the cows in the slaughterhouse, they would have been killed by the king. You have done so sinful, so that kind of killing is pious. To give protection to the innocent citizen or animals from being injured by the rascals. The government or the king should take his sword and kill immediately. This kind of killing is there in the Bhagavad Gita, not that general killing. You can capriciously kill anyone and give the evidence. Oh, it is Bhagavad Gita. It is there. How? See how rascals they are interpreting. Therefore, we are presenting Bhagavad Gita as it is, without interpreting in a rascal's way. So Krishna says in two ways that if you don't fight, then your enemies will blaspheme. They will concoct, manufacture some blasphemy against you. You are becoming very much sorry to fight with your kinsmen. Undoubtedly, you are very sorry. But if you are blasphemed, defamed by your enemies, better before getting that, you better die in the fight. And by dying, you are not loser. Because hatova prapsasi swargam, even if you die, don't think that you are loser. Because immediately you are promoted to the heavenly planets because you are fighting for the right cause. It becomes punyavan, righteous. The heavenly planet is meant for righteous persons. So by dying, by your death in this righteous fighting, you will be promoted to the heavenly planets. So both ways you will be profited. Hatova prapsasi swargam jitvava bhokshase mahim. And if you become victorious, then you enjoy the kingdom. So both ways you are profited. There is no loss on your part. Tasmat. Therefore, uttishta kaunteya yuddhaya kritanishchaya. Definitely decided it that I must fight. Fighting must be there. Yuddhaya. For matter of fighting, uttishta, get up. Why are you sitting like a coward? And Krishna is encouraging. हतो वा प्राप्स्यसि स्वर्गम जित्वा वा भोक्ष्यसे महिम तस्मात् उत्तिष्ठ कौन्तेय युद्धाय कृतनिश्चयः. That's all right. We can read another verse. There is little time, so Pradyumna reads. सुख दुःखे समे कृत्वा लाभालाभौ जयाजयौ ततो युद्धाय युज्यस्व नैवं पापम अवाप्स्यसि. Here in this material world, when you work, there are two things: either loss or gain, either happiness or distress. Sukha, dukkha, loss or gain, victory. What is called the opposites? Defeat. So defeat, because there is the world of duality, because it is the world of duality, there must be something dual, black and white, darkness and light, sukha, happiness, distress, father and son. There must be. This is called a relative world. One thing. If you understand one thing, you must know the other thing, opposite. Otherwise, it has no meaning. In the absolute world, there is no such thing, opposite elements. So here, Krishna is suggesting about the absolute duty. Labha labho. When there is loss or gain, you are the same. Generally, when there is gain, we are very jubilant. And when there is loss, we become morose. But here, Krishna is teaching that you remain in one position. Either it is loss or gain. Either it is victory or defeat. Either it is happiness or distress. This is Brahma Bhuta. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma Nasho Chidanakankshati. A devotee is always Prasannatma because his happiness is to serve Krishna. His only business is to see Krishna happy. That's all. This is devotion. There may be loss or gain. There may be victory or defeat. There may be distress or happiness. It doesn't matter. He is not affected with this duality. That is being taught now. Real Bhagavad Gita begins here. Krishna is teaching in the last verses also. This will go on in different languages up to the end of the Bhagavad Gita. Mam ekam sharanam braja. That's all. Sam siddhir haritoshanam. Atah kumbir dvajasreshta varnashram vibhavisa. Um, so Bhagavad also confirms this. You do not look after whether it is loss or gain. but you have to see whether Krishna is satisfied. That's all. That is your only business. That is your only business. That is explained in the Shrimad Bhagavatam. Atah pumbirtja sreshtha varnashrama vivagasa swanustishtasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. Haritoshanam. The real perfection of life is whether by your actions Krishna is satisfied. That is perfection. You don't consider of your personal victory, defeat, loss or gain, or distress or happiness. Therefore, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has sung that when I work very difficult, when I work very difficult task for Krishna, that difficult task becomes very happiness for me. That difficult task becomes very happiness for me. That is the standard of happiness. In the material world, there is duality. In the absolute world, there is simply happiness. There is nothing else. Just like when Krishna is going to Mathura, all the gopis become very, very distressed, crying. But we cannot understand what is the happiness of that distress. That we cannot understand from this material point of view. That is the greatest happiness. When the gopis were crying in separation for Krishna, that is greater happiness than meeting Krishna, than meeting Krishna. This is Krishna philosophy. That is now beginning. Sukha dukhe same krutva labha labho jaya jayu tato yuddha yujasva naivam papam avasasi. So here Sai Maharaj, Bhaktivedanta Sai Maharaj is talking about Vipralambaras of the gopis. That gopis, they are actually suffering in separation, but that is also one type of happiness. Certainly, that is Vipralambarasa. But Srila Gurudev told that we don't want to see Radha and Krishna separated. And we don't, especially don't want to see Radharani crying for Krishna, but we want to see Krishna crying for Radharani. So that is actually another type of Vipralamba, another mood of separation that we want to see. So, very nice verse. Gita Gita Kartavya Kimanya Shastra Vistarai Ya Swam Padmanabhasya Mukha Padmat Vinisrita. Gita Sugita Kartavya Kimanya Shastra Vistarai Ya Swam Padmanabhasya Mukha Padmat Vinisrita. So Gita is the greatest scripture, and it has come from the mouth of Sri Krishna. So now we'll read from the Gurudev's Gita, because Gurudev has written this commentary on Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Vishwasya Nath Ruposo Bhakti Varta Pradarshanath Bhakta Chakre Vartidatvat Chakravartyakhya Bhavat. So he is Rasik Acharya. He is a Rasik Acharya, and without his mercy, Rasa we cannot understand. Krishna is Rasa. Akhila Rasamrita Murti, Prasurmar Ruchiruddha Taraka Pali, Karita Shamala Larito, Radha Priyan, Vidur Jayati. So, this particular Bhagavad Gita is meant to encourage Arjuna to fight, because it is his dharma. So here, Krishna is telling, Atha chetvam imam dharmam sangramam na karishyasi tataha swadharmam kirtim cha hitva papamavapsasi. Atha, on the other hand, chet, if, tvam, you, imam, this, dharmam, religious duty, sangramam, of war, na, do not, karishyasi, perform, tataha, then, swadharmam, personal duty, kirtim, fame, cha, and hitva, losing, papam, sinful reaction, avapsasi, you will gain. However, if you do not perform your scripturally prescribed religious duty of fighting this religious battle, you will lose your fame and your dharma as a kshatriya. Furthermore, you will simply reap sinful reaction. So in the present verse, beginning with Atha, and in the following three verses, Shri Bhagavan is explaining the defects in taking the stance of not fighting. Verse 34, Akirtim chapi bhutani katayashanti te avyayam sambhavitasya chakirtim maranadatirechate. Akirtim, infamy, cha, and api, also, bhutani, all people, katayashanti, will speak, te, of your, avyayam, unending, sambhavitasya, for an honorable person, cha, and akirtihi, dishonor, maranat, then death, atirichyate, become greater. People will speak of your infamy for all time. For an honorable person, dishonor is more painful than death. Here the word avyayam means indestructible, and sambhavitasya indicates a very honorable or famous person. भयाद्रणादुपरतं मंसन्ते त्वां महारथा येषां च त्वं बहुमतो भूत्वा यास्यसि राघवम्. Out of fear, Rana, from the battle, Uparatam, have fled, Mamsante, they will think, Tvam, you, Maharatha, the great warriors, Yesham, those for whom, Cha, and Tvam, you, Bahumataha, greatly honored, Buddha, having been, Yasyasi, you will become Laghavam, insignificant. Great warriors such as Duryodhan will think that you have left the battlefield out of fear. Those who have always honored you highly will deem you insignificant. Your opponents are of the opinion our enemy Arjuna is extremely valiant. If you run away from the battle after being the object of such honor, you will be deemed a coward in their eyes. Maharathis such as Duryodhan and others will think that you have fled the battlefield out of fear. It must be due to fear, not affection for his relatives, that a Kshatriya becomes averse to fighting while on the battlefield. They will consider your position only in this way. Verse 36. Avajavadam shabahun vadishyati tavahita nindantastava samartham tato dukkhataram nukim. Avajavadam shabahuni vadishyanti tavahita nindantastava samartham tato dukkhataram nukim. Avacha. Avacha means harsh. Something that not should not be spoken. Vadan, words, cha, also, bahun, many, vadishyanti, will speak. Tava, your, ahita, enemies. Ninnantaha, criticizing. Tava, your, samartham, ability. Tataha, then this. Dukkhataram, more painful. No, indeed. Came what? Your enemies will scorn you with many harsh words while criticizing your ability. O Arjuna, what could be more painful for you than this? Sarartha Varshini, Avachabadam implies the use of harsh words such as eunuch. Verse number 37. Hato va prapsasi swargam jitva va bhokshase mahim tasmad uttishta kaunteya yuddhaya kritanishayam. Hato va prapsasi swargam jitva va bhokshase mahim tasmad uttishta kaunteya yuddhaya kritanishayam. Ataha, being killed, va either prapsasi, you will attain Swargam, the heavenly planets. Jitva, by achieving victory, Va, or Bhokshase, you shall enjoy Mahim, the earthly kingdom. Tasmat, therefore, Uttishtha, arise. Kaunteya, O son of Kunti, Yudhaya, for battle. Krita Nishchayaha, with determination. O son of Kunti, if you are killed in the battle, you will attain the heavenly planets. And if you are victorious, you will enjoy this earthly kingdom. Therefore, stand up and fight with determination. Sarvatavashi Tika, should a question arise in the mind of Arjuna as to why he should engage in the battle when it is not certain that he will win? Sri Bhagavan responds by speaking this verse beginning with Hataha. Verse 38. Sukha dukhe same krutva लाभालाभौ जया जयौ ततो युद्धाय युज्यस्व नैवं पापमवाप्स्यसि. Sukha, happiness, dukkhe, and distress. Same, kritva, understanding them to be equal. Labha, alabho, both gain and loss. Jaya, ajayo, both victory and defeat. Tataha, then, being like this, yuddhaya, for fighting. Yujjasva, be ready. No, not evam in this way. Papam, sinful reaction. Abam sasi milinkar. Considering happiness and distress, gain and loss, and victory and defeat to be equal, you should prepare to fight. In this way, you will not incur any sin. Sarasvati Shri Krishna says, O Arjuna, fighting is your only duty. You doubt this and think that by fighting you will incur sin, but you should accept my instructions and fight. By doing so, you will not incur sinful reaction. Through victory or defeat, you will either gain a kingdom or lose one. And as a consequence, you will experience either happiness or distress. Therefore, Arjuna, deliberate on this with proper wisdom and fight. Knowing victory and defeat to be equal, you will not incur sin as long as you are endowed with this quality of equanimity. This subject is also described later in the Gita, 5.10. Lipyatena papena padmapatram ivambhasa. Just as a lotus leaf remains in water but never becomes wet, similarly, though engaged in battle, you will not incur sin. Sarartha Varshini Prakashika Vritti. In the Gita 1.36, Arjuna is thinking, I will incur sin by killing them. In speaking this verse, Shri Krishna is refuting Arjuna's argument as baseless. Shri Krishna is saying, there is a possibility of incurring sin by killing one's relatives in battle when the battle is fought with attachment to one's happiness and distress. I am explaining to you the means by which you can become free from sin. Sin will not touch you if you perform your duty of fighting as per my instructions. Considering happiness and distress, gain, loss, victory, and defeat as equal, one becomes sinful or bound by actions, bound by action if he is attached to the fruits of his action. Therefore, it is certainly necessary to renounce attachment to the action. Thus, this conclusion has been established in the Gita 5.10. ब्रह्मणि आधाय कर्माणि संगम त्यक्त्वा करोति या लिप्यतेन स पापेन पद्मपत्रमिवाम्भसा. Those who give up all attachment to work and surrender all the results of their work unto me, the Supreme Controller, do not become affected by sin, just as a lotus leaf remains untouched by water. ईशां ते अभिहिता सांख्ये बुद्धिर्योगे त्विमां शृणु बुद्ध्या युक्तो यया पार्थ कर्म बंधम प्रहास्यसि. ईशा ते अभिहिता सांख्ये बुद्धिर्योगे त्विमां शृणु बुद्ध्या युक्तो यया पार्थ कर्म बंधनम प्रहास्यसि. Isha, this, te, to you, Abhihita, explained, Sankhya, regarding analytical knowledge of matter and spirit, Buddhihi, knowledge, Yoga, in Bhakti Yoga, too, but Imam, this knowledge, Shruno, now here, Buddhya, by knowledge, Yuktaha, connected, Yaya, by which, Partha, O son of Putha, Karma Bandham, bondage of the material world, Prahasyasi, you shall be liberated from. O son of Prutha, thus far I explained this knowledge of Sankhya Yoga, but now I will impart to you knowledge pertaining to the science of Bhakti Yoga, by which you will become freed from bondage to this material world. Sarasvati. At this point, Bhagavan Shri Krishna says, until now I have instructed you in spiritual realization through transcendental knowledge, Jnana Yoga. I am concluding my instructions on Jnana Yoga with this verse beginning with the word Isha. That which properly illuminates the nature of an object is called Sankhya, complete knowledge. That intelligence with which you must act has been explained here by the word Isha. Now, here about the intelligence required to act for spiritual realization through loving devotion, Bhakti Yoga. Shri Krishna's statement, in which he uses the word Dayaya, explains that when a person is endowed with intelligence related to Bhakti, he will become freed from bondage to this material world. Sarartha Varshini Prakashika. Here Shri Krishna is concluding his explanation of yoga through the principle of analysis or Sankhya Yoga, and is beginning his instructions on Buddhi Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. Srila Chakravarti Thakur defines Sankhya Yoga as follows. Samyak khyayate prakashyate vastu tattvam aneneti sankhya samyak jnanam. That which properly illuminates the nature, tattva of an object is called Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya Yoga gives a complete knowledge about the Atma, soul, and Anatma, indirect matter. From the verse Natvam Evaham, Gita 2.12 to Dehi Nityam, Gita 2.30, various facets of the science of the soul have been explained. And from Swadharmam Apichaveksha, Gita 2.31 to Sukha Dukhe Samay Krutva, Gita 2.38, knowledge of the science of what is not related to the soul in the form of occupational duty has been explained. When a person performs selfless action, fixing his intelligence on that which is related to bhakti, he becomes free from the bondage of action. In other words, his bondage to the illusory material world is destroyed. This conclusion is verified in Sri Ishopanishad 1.1. ईशावास्याम् इदं सर्वं यत्किञ्च जगत्यां जगत् तेन तत्तेन भुञ्जिता मा कृता कस्य सिद्धनम्. Everything moving and non-moving in the entire universe is pervaded and enjoyed by Parameshwar, the supreme controller. All moving and non-moving objects in this world are to be enjoyed only by Parameshwar, the sole enjoyer of this world. The jivas are the servants of Bhagwan. They should engage in service to him, using this universe as an instrument, and they should maintain their lives by accepting his remnants. The supreme duty of the jiva is to render loving service to Sri Bhagwan by using his property, being devoid of a desire to accept that property as the object of their own enjoyment. In this way, the jivas do not become bound by their actions. Kurvan eveham karmani jijivishe shatam sama evam tvai manyatheto stina karma lipyate nare. Shri Upanishad 1.2. One may aspire to live for hundreds of years if he continuously goes on working in that way, for that sort of work will not bind him to the law of action. There is no alternative to this for man. So now next verse is Neha Vikramanashosti Pratyavayo na vidyate Swalpamapyasa dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Neha Vikramanashosti Pratyavayo na vidyate Swalpamapyasa dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. So Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj also has written a commentary on this verse 2.39 and 2.40. एषा ते अविहिता सांख्ये बुद्धिर्योगे त्वमां शृणु बुद्ध्या युक्तो यया पार्थ कर्म बंधं प्रहस्यसि. एषा, all this, te, unto you, abhihita, described, sankhye, in analytical study, buddhi, intelligence, yoge, in work without fruitive result, tu, but, imam, this, shruno, just hear, buddhya, by intelligence, yuktaha, doted, yaya, by which, Partha, O son of Prutha, Karma Bandham, bondage of reaction, Rahasasi, you can be released from. Thus far, I have declared to you the analytical knowledge of Sankhya philosophy. Now listen to the knowledge of yoga, whereby one works without fruitive result. O son of Prutha, when you act by such intelligence, you can free yourself from the bondage of works. According to Nirukti of the Vedic dictionary, Sankhya means that which describes phenomena in detail, and Sankhya refers to that philosophy which describes the real nature of the soul. And yoga involves controlling the senses. Arjun's proposal not to fight was based on sense gratification. Forgetting his prime duty, he wanted to cease fighting because he thought that by not killing his relatives and kinsmen, he would be happier than by enjoying the kingdom by conquering his cousins and brothers, the sons of Dhritarashtra. In both ways, the basic principles were for sense gratification. Happiness derived from conquering them and happiness derived by seeing kinsmen alive are both on the basis of personal sense gratification. For there is a sacrifice of wisdom and duty. Krishna therefore wanted to explain to Arjuna that by killing the body of his grandfather, he would not be killing the soul proper. And he explained that all individual persons, including the Lord himself, are eternal individuals. They were individuals in the past, they are individuals in the present, and they will continue to remain individuals in the future. Because all of us are individual souls eternally, and we simply change our bodily dress in different manners. But actually, we keep our individuality even after liberation from the bondage of material dress. An analytical study of the soul and the body has been graphically explained by Lord Krishna, and this descriptive knowledge of the soul and the body from different angles of vision has been described here as Sankhya in terms of the Nirukti dictionary. The Sankhya has nothing to do with the Sankhya philosophy of the atheistic Kapila. Long before the impostor Kapila, the Sankhya philosophy was expounded in the Srimad Bhagavatam by the true Kapila, the incarnation of Lord Krishna, who explained it to his mother Devaki. It is clearly explained by him that the Purusha, the Supreme Lord, is active and that he creates by looking on the over the Prakriti. This is accepted in the Vedas and in the Gita. The description in the Vedas indicates that the Lord glanced over the Prakriti or nature and impregnated it with atomic individual souls. All these individuals are working in the material world for sense gratification, and under the spell of material energy, they are thinking of being enjoyers. This mentality is dragged to the last point of liberation when the living entity wants to become one with the Lord. This is the last snare of Maya or sense gratificatory illusion. And it is only after many, many births of such sense gratificatory activities that a great soul surrenders unto Vasudeva, Lord Krishna, thereby fulfilling the search after the ultimate truth. Arjuna has already accepted Krishna as his spiritual master by surrendering himself unto him. Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. Consequently, Krishna will now tell him about the working process in Buddhi Yoga or Karma Yoga, or in other words, the practice of devotional service only for the sense gratification of Lord Krishna. This Buddhi Yoga is clearly explained in chapter 10, verse 10, as being direct communion with the Lord, who is sitting as Paramatma in everyone's heart. But such communion does not take place without devotional service. One who is therefore situated in devotional or transcendental loving service to the Lord, in other words, in Krishna consciousness, attains to this stage of Buddhi Yoga by the special grace of the Lord. The Lord says, therefore, that only to those who are always engaged in devotional service out of transcendental love does he award the pure knowledge of devotion and love. In that way, the devotee can reach him easily in the ever blissful kingdom of God. Thus, the Buddhi Yoga mentioned in this verse is the devotional service of the Lord. And the word Sankhya mentioned herein has nothing to do with the atheistic Sankhya Yoga initiated by the impostor Kapila. One should not therefore misunderstand that the Sankhya Yoga mentioned herein has any connection with the atheistic Sankhya, nor did that philosophy have any influence during that time. Nor would Lord Krishna care to mention such godless philosophical speculations. Real Sankhya philosophy is described by Lord Kapila in the Srimad Bhagavatam, but even that Sankhya has nothing to do with the current topics. Here, Sankhya means analytical description of the body and the soul. Lord Krishna made an analytical description of the soul just to bring Arjuna to the point of Buddhi Yoga or Bhakti Yoga. Therefore, Lord Krishna's Sankhya and Lord Kapila's Sankhya, as described in the Bhagavatam, are one and the same. They are all Bhakti Yoga. He said, therefore, that only the less intelligent class of men make a distinction between Sankhya Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. Of course, atheistic Sankhya Yoga has nothing to do with Bhakti Yoga. Yet the unintelligent claim that the atheistic Sankhya Yoga is referred to in the Bhagavad Gita. One should therefore understand that Buddhi Yoga means to work in Krishna consciousness, in the full bliss and knowledge of devotional service. One who works for the satisfaction of the Lord only, however difficult such work may be, is working under the principles of Buddhi Yoga and finds himself always in transcendental bliss. By such transcendental engagement, one achieves all transcendental qualities automatically by the grace of the Lord, and thus his liberation is complete in itself, without his making extraneous endeavors to acquire knowledge. There is much difference between work in Krishna consciousness and work for fruitive results, especially in the matter of sense gratification. for achieving results in terms of family or material happiness. Buddhi yoga is therefore the transcendental quality of the work that we perform. So I think we'll end here. So next class we'll begin the verse. Very important word. Neha vikramana shosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Neha vikramana shosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. Hare Krishna. So we'll stop here. So anyone has any comments or questions, please do ask. Is Hare Krishna. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. So today is Ekadashi. So all are fasting from grains and beans. So today is a good day. Remember Krishna and remember his message. Bhagavad Gita is very purifying. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatarvasya kripa sandhipacha pajanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Prams. Thank you for that beautiful class. So I don't think there's any questions, so we move on to Jai Diwani Ananga Mohan Prabhu, please. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
श्री श्री गुरु गौरंग गंधारित गिरिधारी राधा विनोद बिहारी जी की जय। ओम विष्णु पार स्तोत्र शत श्रीमद भक्ति वेदांत विष्णु देवी गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। विष्णु पार स्तोत्र शत भक्ति वेदांत दानी गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नितिले प्रविष्टम विष्णु स्तोत्र शत श्रीमद भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नितिले प्रविष्टम विष्णु पार स्तोत्र शत श्रीमद भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नितिले प्रविष्टम विष्णु पार स्तोत्र शत श्रीमद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज की जय। नितिले प्रविष्टम विष्णु पार श्रीमद भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नितिल प्रविष्ट विष्णु पर श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। नितिल प्रविष्ट परम भगवत द्वारा श्री गौर किशोर दास बाबा जी महाराज की जय। नितिल प्रविष्ट श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्तिनोद ठाकुर की जय। नितिल प्रविष्ट वैष्णव सर्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबा जी महाराज की जय। श्री गौरी वेदांत विद्याभूषण प्रभु की जय। श्री विष्णु चक्रवर्ती जय। श्री नौतम श्रीनिवास श्यामानंद प्रभु की जय। श्री कृष्ण कविराज गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। श्री रूप सनातन बात रघुनाथ जीव गोपाल दास रघुनाथ सर गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय राम श्री गौरव प्रसाद विंद की जय। श्री अंत श्री हरदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदा शिव साथी गौर भक्त विंद की जय। श्री अंतद्वीप मायापुर सीमद्वीप गोद्रुमद्वीप मध्यद्वीप कोलाद्वीप ऋतुद्वीप जानद्वीप मोदर ध्रुव द्वीप पद्मकाशी नवदीप धाम की जय। श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपाल गोवर्धन द्वादश वन प्रकाश श्री ब्रजमंदा की जय। श्री राधकुंड श्याम कुंड गंगा तुलसी भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री मति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जय। श्री गोपीश्वर महादेव की जय। जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा सुदर्शन चक्र जी की जय। श्री मंदिर की जय। सर्व विघ्न विनाशकार श्री नरसिंह देव की जय। भक्त प्रभासी प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। चार धाम की जय। चार संप्रदाय की जय। चार आचार्य की जय। अकर महाराज चैतन्य मार्ग की जय। श्री केशव जी गौरी अमर मत समा की जय। ग्रंथ राज श्रीमद भागवत की जय। श्रीमद भगवद गीता की जय। नाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समगन भक्त वृंद की जय। गौर प्रेम हरि हरि बोल।
जय हो जय। अनंग मोहन प्रभु जी की जय। समस्त वैष्णव वृंद की जय। हरे कृष्णा। हरि बोल।
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Prams. Thank you again for coming today, and thank you, dear devotees, for also joining. So tomorrow we'll see you all again for Madhurya Kadambini class with Sripad Bhaktivedanta Vishnu Daivata Mj. And yes, sorry, Maharaj, you sent me a number to add. Is it India devotee?
Indian devotee, maybe. Did I send you a number?
No, is it from India? Because I don't know the code for the country.
Maybe India only, I think so. Yeah. I will check that number again.
The code, just the country code, Maharaj, please.
Oh, okay, sure.
I'm not sure.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, country
so
code.
much.
Because I know India is +91.
India is +91 and South Africa is +27, like this. Yeah.
Yeah, but Marge, you just gave me the number. There's no code, so I'm not sure
Okay. No, I'll check
if
it out.
it's
I'll check it out. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
okay.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you,
Tadastu.
Didi.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
so much.
Marge. Thank you,
Hare
the
Krishna.
devotees. Vancha Kapati, Vyastya,
Rubasya
Kripasmi,
Krupa,
Vira,
Sindhu
Chapati,
Vacha Pradhanam, Pavanabhyo,
Vaishnavi,
Shavabhi Horam, Andakoti Vaishnava ki jai. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Bhakti Vedanta Vishnu Dev Maharaj ki jai. No, they go to
Jai
Manandi.
Shri Vishakha Didi ji ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Vishakha.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. All glories to you. Hare Krishna.